savings against like your compute. Essentially, spot instances exist which give you fantastic savings. Rob, what would be your concerns around utilizing spot instances?
So I would say that the spot instances are an incredible tool that people almost don't use enough. There were some concerns before about instances going away, not being able to get availability, and a lot of them are either mitigated by having good architectural patterns in place, or by some of the not actually so recent changes, but some of the changes that have gone into the spot market that make it more stable. So there are situations, so think of when you should use spot instances or when you can use spot instances. Actually, I'd say for should, you can almost look at any asynchronous workload that runs behind a queue or a stream, something that can be batched up and it doesn't have an immediacy around it. And that's a great use case for that. And it can be any batch job or data processing job. And this is really useful, I think, especially in customers that offer a free tier. So often it may be that you're, let's take the fictional scenario of processing a large data file. And as part of the free tier, you commit to giving it within a longer time frame than if you're paid. That allows you to say, okay, we have the on-demand price, but we economically, or this is only really economic for us if we get it for 50% of the on-demand price. That allows you to set that bid at that price and then wait for a period of time. You may have some sort of fallback to say, actually, if it does go over our SLA, then we will run it on demand. But that's an awesome way of thinking about this particular process. I think then where it becomes more problematic is where the workloads are more stateful. And this is where, trying to understand how your architecture will respond to failure, how quickly can it spin up instances in space is super important. And there's a couple of techniques that can be really useful for this. I often see people blending together, even request response patterns, a mixture of spot and on-demand. And that blend can be anything. And again, I would start off with a smaller blend, let's say 90% on demand, 10% spot. And then as you become more confident in how your system responds to failures and how quickly it spins up a new instance and comes into place, you can start to adjust that as well. I would also put a circuit breaker auto-scaling group in, as in if all the spot instances suddenly disappear, highly unlikely, especially, well, that is possible if you've got a quite tight priority range and only one instance family type per availability zone. But if you follow the best practices and spread out, that'll be reduced. And the circuit breaker then would be, if everything's just disappeared, you're just going to try and grab as much on-demand capacity as possible. Another really useful tool to look at, is Spotinst. They're a startup company that help manage a lot of this for you and more, and they then just take a percentage of the savings. So that's kind of a really good way to get started with Spot if this perhaps isn't the thing that you're too familiar with or have some concerns about.